Everyone, it's Emily Fox. Today's video is going to be a new half-half video comparing two best-selling drugstore concealers. So we have the new Maybelline SuperStay Full Coverage Under Eye Concealer, and then we have the COVERGIRL truBLEND Undercover Concealer. So I'm going to be applying both of these on half my face, like I said, and then I'm going to be wearing them throughout the day, show you how they wear, show you how they look on me, and basically telling you if I think they're worth the money or not. I'm putting them to the test today as a first impression, and then I will be testing them for another week before I post a video, so I can give you more of an idea if I change my mind or anything, or if there's a way to make them work or not. So yeah, let's do this. So on my left, your right, I'm going to be applying the new Maybelline one. I adore Maybelline concealers. Like, all of them work so well for me. I'm actually coming up very soon with the best drugstore concealer video, and there will be a few of the Maybelline ones. So I'm hoping I'm gonna actually really enjoy this one too. This one is like a squeezy tube, but with a little applicator right there. I got both of these in a like winter shade because we're going towards winter, right? Whoa, this is full coverage. Okay. I was not expecting this. So this is the color number 10, which I believe is fair. Yes, it is. So they might be a tad bit light right now for me, but we're just gonna go with it. So yeah, first impression, I'm gonna let it dry to see if it does oxidize or anything. And I'm a little nervous, even though I trust Maybelline in their concealers. Full coverage can be hit and miss. I feel like my under eyes are pretty dehydrated, and some skin products will really emphasize that, but the rest of my face is so like combination, and like I get quite oily that I'm always confused with everything looking dry and then oily at the same time. So it's early, I had coffee, let's do this. I'm gonna start with just a little bit because full coverage, I don't trust you sometimes. So sponge, let's blend it. Oh, the color actually might not be that bad. Yeah, it's definitely full coverage. Do not apply a ton unless that's what you want to do, but I would rather start with a little bit and build it up. Damn. Never forget to apply some in the corner here. It really makes a difference. Damn. Whoa. I'm gonna apply a tiny bit here because that's where I get the darkest. But again, a little bit. So generally speaking, the fuller the coverage, the more drying a concealer will be, or foundation really. So that's why, again, applying a little bit might be easier if you have any type of dryness or dehydration. But this actually doesn't look bad first impression. Obviously it needs to dry and everything. And I will set them with a tiny bit of powder, the same that I usually use, just so I can compare them. And if need be, I will not apply any a different day, but first impression is that it doesn't look that dry under my eye for the amount of coverage especially. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna zoom you in a second. Let's just do the other eye. CoverGirl, I'm gonna switch sponge. No cross-contamination here. It's very science-based here. Actually, CoverGirl, fun fact. Ooh, my gosh, is that another Tarte dupe? One of the first foundation I've ever used was from this range, a truBLEND one by CoverGirl, and I used to use it as a concealer under my eyes because I was like, I'm not spending, you know, $5-10 on a concealer when I can get a foundation and just use it under my eyes. So I did that for years in high school. This is also the color number, is it 10 too? No, L200 Light Ivory. It definitely is lighter, and you can see it's a bit more warm than the Maybelline one. I feel like the Maybelline one has been drying more pink, so just be aware of that. They might not match under my eyes, but won't be the worst thing I've done. I've definitely done like half crazy lipstick color, and my mailman loves it. I'm actually curious to see if that's going to be another dupe for the Tarte Shape Tape, because I feel like a lot of brands have been coming out with some, like L'Oreal. So let's try this. No crazy scent compared to the L'Oreal one. That's literally the one thing I didn't like. Whoa, I applied too much. That might have been a bit too much. It does seem to give me some coverage, but I feel like it seems to be lighter weight than the Tarte Shape Tape. So hopefully it won't be as drying on me. Oh, it might be a bit light. Let me just remove some a little, because otherwise I'm gonna like overdo it. Oh yeah, the color's a bit off, that's for sure. It's gonna wash me out. Yeah, that doesn't look good. Damn it. Let's try it with my finger, see if it's gonna be better, because sometimes full coverage products don't do well with water because they're more waterproof. Yeah, I definitely feel like it works better with your finger than the sponge. The sponge kind of makes it spread weirdly on my skin. It's almost a bit sticky, which, I mean, again, if it's long wearing, that's definitely something that can happen. It means it's gonna really stick to the skin. Okay, for sure, this one, use your fingers or a brush, because with the sponge, it really just does not work. You can really tell that the Maybelline one dried way darker, because at first it was really brightening and now it's like pretty much the same color as the rest of my foundation. And I feel like it dried really matte on its own. I don't feel like I should set this with powder. Otherwise, I feel like it would start becoming drying. I don't think this would be flattering on more mature skin, because I feel like me, it's kind of limits. You know, some concealer will make you look like really aged and dried. I feel like it's on the verge of doing that. Let me use the other finger. No, maybe I will skip the powder actually today. As I was applying them, I thought I would like this one better than this one, but now I feel like maybe it's the opposite. I'm gonna do the rest of my makeup and then I will bring you in front of the window so you can see what they look like in natural lighting. I wish I had more videos of me showing you what concealers look like from up close, because it's kind of hard to compare, but at least you can compare them against each other. So I will see you in a minute. I'll give them a minute to dry, and luckily it doesn't look too crazy. This one is obviously a bit more brightening, but I will be able to go outside today. Just for fun, I wanted to compare what it looks like with all the lighting and then natural lighting, just so we can all attest that it does make a difference. Realistically speaking though, nobody's going to be as close to this to me ever, but this is what they look like. So the Maybelline one and the CoverGirl one, I don't think they look that bad, considering that they are full coverage and that the colors were not necessarily the best match for me at the moment. I think they're both giving me pretty decent results at the moment. Again, first impression. Let's just see how they compare once they dry now. So again, this was the Maybelline one, this is the CoverGirl one. Let me do a fresh swatch next to them so it kind of gives you an idea if you have to go lighter than they look like in the tube. The Maybelline one, I would definitely say yes. Yeah. You can see that it looks pretty neutral and then it definitely becomes quite pink, which works for me. I'm pretty neutral to cool, so I think that during the winter I won't have an issue getting away with this. However, I do think it is much darker than I would expect a fair color to be, so I would need to check. I believe they have like 1 or 2 shades that are lighter, so just be aware that it definitely dries darker than it looks like in the tube, as you can see. So go lighter than you think you will need for sure. CoverGirl, I feel like usually I tell myself I need to go lighter with my skin products with them. I do feel like they tend to oxidize quite a bit. However, I feel like this concealer isn't too bad. Maybe it's just the color because it is quite light. I feel like it becomes a much better color for me. I don't feel like it washes me out as bad as it did at first. At first, I feel like it was almost like a gray kind of white, but it definitely becomes closer to my skin tone. So I feel like once it dries, it's a much better match for me. It is early in the morning and I feel like the sun is directly hitting me in the face. So I'm not sure how the lighting's gonna look like, but I just decided to skip eyeshadow completely because I don't want anything to, you know, ruin this try on wear test thingy. So again, this is the Maybelline one and this is the CoverGirl one. So let's do one at a time. I feel like the color dried much darker and it doesn't look bad. I know that like we're so used to like filtered everything that some people might look at this and be like, eh, you know, it could look better. But considering that I have quite dehydrated under eyes and the color is not perfect, but it's still a pretty decent match, I think this looks great for full coverage. So that was Maybelline. Let's try the CoverGirl one now. At first, I really didn't think it was going to work for me. I do have a little bit of a dry patch here that you can kind of tell. But I feel like, once again, overall, it's looking really good. I've definitely tried high-end concealers that look way worse than this, especially, again, full coverage. So I'm actually pleasantly surprised with both of them. I'm enjoying them. I'm going to keep the wear test on for, you know, the whole day, and we're going to see if one side wears better than the other one. But so far, I would be happy with either of them. I need to check the color range, though. I have a feeling CoverGirl is probably better because they've improved drastically their color range in general. But not bad. So I'll update you later. Okay, so we are now at the end of the day. It's been 11 hours, and my makeup is still there. The concealers survived better than I expected. But hopefully you can see them. There's no natural lighting left, so I can't really go in from the window. But I think you can kind of tell that both survived decently well, actually. I do think that the Maybelline one looks better. You can probably tell. I think I prefer the color of the CoverGirl, though. I feel like this one is quite brightening, but it's definitely a bit more drying. So I think I'm going to have to play with eye cream or something to put underneath. Whenever I do those tests, I will skip eye cream and just wear like serum and everything, just to try and prevent anything interacting, at least when I do a first impression. And afterwards, that's when I start mixing and matching and testing stuff. So I think that's what I'm going to do, because again, we did notice that little dry patch, and I feel like it's a little close to my eye, kind of does that a little bit. There's a bit of darkness here. That's because of my mascara, so that's on me. I just didn't want to swipe it and, you know, remove the concealer and accuse the concealer of disappearing. But I feel like they survived really well, considering that, again, it's been 11 hours. I do tend to touch my eyes, which is really bad if I'm doing a wear test like this. It's kind of like, if it disappears, it's on me a little bit. But considering I've tested so many concealers, I do feel like these two resisted and lasted really well. They're still there, so that's pretty good. I am giving both of these a thumbs up. They're both affordable full coverage concealer at the drugstore. Again, first impression, but I do think this one, the CoverGirl one, would suit a lot of people if you're looking for a dupe for the Tarte Shape Tape one. And I think that this one is actually really great too. So, okay, I just double checked and there are 30 shades available, but if I look at Ulta, there's only 14. So I don't know if some of them are like limited to Walmart or something, but technically there are 30 shades. So the color range is definitely great for this one. And I believe there are only 12 shades for Maybelline. So that's what I was thinking. CoverGirl definitely has a much better range of color, but if you're able to find a shade, I would recommend this one too, because I am really liking it. So this is going to be my first impressions. Again, I will be putting them to the test a lot more and letting you know how they perform. It doesn't mean that there has to be a winner, right? At the end of the day, they could be two great affordable drugstore concealers, and it looks like it's going that direction. This one might be less everyday for me because of the dryness around my eyes, but I might still enjoy it. And this one might be better for everyday, but I will have to, you know, find a better shade or only wear it whenever it matches me. So this is going to be it for this video. Let me know in the comment section if you have tried any of these, both of these, what you think of them. What are your favorite drugstore concealers? I want to know. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoy it. Don't forget to subscribe, because you definitely don't want to miss any future videos. And I will be putting on the screen more videos that I recommend you check out, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.